The biggest race in the 2017 elections in Louisiana was for state treasurer, and Talk 107.3 FM had a focus on speaking directly to candidates.
What are the 3 or 4 keys to your campaign platform? What promises do you feel that you're on solid ground that you can make as you campaign?
I have a record, and you can go to my website at johntrotter.com and my Facebook page, and my campaign team's done a real good job at gathering video and audio. You can't run and hide from your past. You know that. The technology's changed incredibly in 10 years. So you can see where I stand up to anybody who's not doing what's right for the taxpayers.
Our guest in studio would like to be the next state treasurer of the state of Louisiana. Angel Davis is with us, and thanks so much for coming in. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Kevin and Bill.
Do you feel it's important for the treasurer to be an activist?
I absolutely think that the treasurer can do so much more to bring transparency into the decision-making process in the state of Louisiana.
What do you see as the defining issues in the race for the treasurer, and how many of those can you impact?
Well, the defining issue is exactly what is the job of the treasurer. What does the treasurer do? Now, I've got a very definable voting record, a very conservative voting record, the most conservative voting record that's in this race.
And along with candidates, Talk 107.3 FM got analysis from recognized authorities.
Professor Jeff Sato thinks so, and I do too. He joins us now. We're following up on his column in The Advocate from 5 days ago, or 3 days ago. Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Good, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm good. I think you hit it right on the head that hypocrisy sinks no deeper than this one.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, the qualifying ended in the middle of July for a statewide contest.
Mm-hmm.
It was clear at that point he was the only Democrat on the ballot. And I know he'd run a campaign in the past where he didn't put a lot of effort into it, didn't get a lot of votes, but clearly he was going to do well.
A little further down ballot here in East Baton Rouge was a proposed uptick in the hotel-motel tax. Talk 107.3 covered that as well.
Once again, Paul is joining us. There is a matter on our ballots coming up in a couple of weeks, and it is an increase. You'll be voting on an increase in the state's hotel occupancy tax. And last year, this thing did not pass, and I think a lot of people just didn't understand it, and that's maybe why it didn't pass. But we've been trying to get the word out.
Yeah, we're looking forward and want to thank you guys and all the other media that help us get the word out to inform and advise the public exactly what this is. This is a 2% increase on hotel occupancy tax, which is paid by persons staying in hotels in portions of East Baton Rouge Parish. The money will be used to market this region for tourism, events, conventions, etc., and the other portion of the tax will go to the Raising Cane's River Center.
Not to be overlooked was the race for city court judge.
Joining us right now in studio is Judy Moore Vendetto. She is a candidate for city court judge, and thank you for being our guest this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Same question I've asked the other candidates. Crowded field.
Very crowded.
Everybody seems to be pretty well qualified. What made you get in this race?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, I have been in criminal district court for the last 20-plus years. I feel that it's kind of just that time to move on. I believe that with my experience, I could really help and do some good in city court.
Perhaps bigger than any race in Louisiana in 2017, all eyes in the nation focused on the Senate race in Alabama. Talk 107.3 had its finger on the pulse there as well.
Why didn't they come up sooner, and how much damage are they really going to do?
Well, and as part
to Judge Moore as he pursues the Senate.
And as part of the national coverage of this, CBS News led with a survey done by our own John Couvion.
How did you swing that?
Can't complain.
And so, John, Roy Moore is not your client.
Correct. I'm unaffiliated with anybody in this race.
But you did survey as to whether or not this is impacting him in the race.
Yes.
What have you found?
Here's the interesting thing. The sexual molestation allegations are actually not damaging Moore as much as other factors. The other factors being that I think the Democrats are incredibly energized, as was evidenced by their near sweep of last Tuesday's election.
And after every vote was tallied, our election coverage wasn't complete until we got some feedback on why turnout was so anemic.
Do you have any feel from what you did, and of course we're going to ask the public this themselves, why the voter turnout was so darn low?
I just think what you had was a general lack of interest combined with fatigue. Because the thing I noted, too, anytime I do a poll, I can quickly tell by the level of pushing and pulling it takes to get a good balanced sample how interested the voters are. For instance, in the presidential race, the numbers were very, very good. In this race, I had never seen so much disengagement with the voters in a very long time in all the years I've done polling.